Hi, everybody. It's July 16th. We're going to talk about the hub drill coming up on August 15th. I forgot to record the actual meeting, so I'm going to do a review of everything we talked about. Here we go. This is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the radio plan. We're going to talk about outreach. I've got some other news and then see what you guys are thinking about with drill prep. So, radio plan. This is what I shared to ACS last Saturday. This is just some of the details you guys know already. We are practicing the basics in this drill, nothing too outrageous. We are doing 4 locations. Here they are. You guys know all this. The goals for us versus the goals for ACS. For us, we want to see if I'm going to say GMRS radio operators, but I should say hub radio operators, our hub radio folks, can they find out where ACS has set up? If there is a sector that is up and running, can our radio operators find ACS radio operators physically? We're going to build into the system some conflicting information. Information will come to the hub in 2 different ways and it will be conflicting. And what does the hub do with that? The way we see what they did with it, talk to them about what they did with it is at the end of the drill, we always ask the hubs to take pictures of what's on their information board. When they got conflicting information, how did they handle it? What information did they put up there for the public? So photograph your information boards before you erase them. The third thing is during the exercise, the hub manager should find out that the higher ups want to know what their top 3 issues are. It could be anything. Hopefully the hub manager has some idea of what the big problems are and can scratch a few things down and send it out through the radio. So we want to kind of practice that scenario. If someone's asking the hub manager, what's going on? What are your top 3 issues? So that's built into the drill, and you'll see that in the timeline. For ACS, we're not dictating what they do, but this is kind of what they do. They're just deploying their folks out to sectors. They're going to practice sending voice and WinLink messages. WinLink is a way to send radio messages using sending electrical messages. I don't know how to say that better. Instead of voice, it's sending them digitally. And then how do we get information between ACS, the sector, the ham radio operators at the sector, and our GMRS radio operators at the hub? How do we do that? Can we do it via radio, or does it, in some cases, make much more sense to just figure out how to send a runner and let's just exchange paperwork back and forth? So that's the goals of the drill. This is the schedule. Friday night, ACS members will check in via some kind of check-in net. They are running that, but they do that typically before every exercise. So Friday night, they'll all check in. On Saturday, this is the schedule. ACS members will deploy near the participating hub. So within walking distance, we're talking a block or 2, near the hub. We do not know where that's going to be. We might suggest some places to the ACS members, but the hub, when I say we, I mean me and Miles, I guess, the hub will not know where these folks are, because then that kind of defeats the purpose of trying to locate them. So we're asking that ACS deploys near the participating hub within walking distance. 9:30, jump on the net, start talking. They will probably talk on the Columbia repeater. I'm not positive about that, but that's one of the big repeaters, very powerful one that we believe most every hub can hear. So ACS will start talking on the Columbia repeater. They will announce that they are set up. The Southeast sector has set up. We are up and running and we are located at 123 Main Street or whatever. I don't know. In the Fred Meyer parking lot, whatever they're going to say. So they will announce that on that large ham radio repeater. So our hubs can listen in and find out where they are. Optionally, ACS members at those sectors can talk on a local GMRS repeater. Maybe it's the, let's see, I guess it's the, I don't know what repeaters in the Southeast. Maybe it's the Capitol Hill repeater. I'm not really sure. Anyway, they could also talk on a GMRS repeater and let the hub radio operator know where they are. Around 10:15, because the hub has now heard where the ACS members are, the hub can send a runner to them. 10:30ish, the ACS members will hand a packet of information, a packet of papers to the runner to take back to the hub. That packet will contain pre-staged messages meant for the hubs. What we're practicing here is the radio operator has gotten several messages overnight, left over from yesterday, whatever. Stuff that's come in that we need to get to the hub, so let's just walk it over there. They will also let the runner and the hub know that an update from the city is coming over ham radio waves at 11:30. So not only will ACS be listening in, but the hub radio operators can listen in and hear what they hear. And then also that heads up, the powers that be officials want to know what your top 3 issues are, and ACS members will be ready to transmit that at 12:15. So the hub manager needs to come up with their top 3 issues and get those to the radio operator, the ACS radio operator, before 12:15, so that can be sent on. So that's the schedule. 12:15, they will send out those top 3, and they'll send it out over voice or WinLink to net control using an ICS 213, which is a special radio form. So that's the schedule. When I spoke to the ACS members, and I am not an ACS member, I'm barely a ham radio operator, but I did the best I could. The questions I asked them was, can you print from home? So can I just send them this packet and they can print it, or do we need to print it and get it to them? And then do they have a GMRS license and a radio? We just kind of wanted to know that. We also told ACS members that because hub people do not know where they are going to be, it is a secret, that we will not have facilities for them. We will not have a canopy, a table, or a chair available for them. So they do need to plan to be very self-sufficient. So that's kind of what we did. The QR code is to sign up and play along with us. Participation has been low so far. This was Saturday. Last Saturday, I talked to them. There is a competing event called Bigfoot. Quite a few ACS members are going to volunteer with that. So unfortunately, we're competing with another event. But we'll get enough ACS members to make this happen. Someone in the meeting asked a couple good questions were asked during the meeting. I guess we did a video a while back on how to fill out an ICS 213. I'm going to try and figure out if I can find that video and send that back out as a review. Also, that information is available in our job descriptions for the radio operator and the radio assistant. So that's another good place, and I will probably send out the job descriptions to the different hubs so they can get them to their radio operators to review ahead of time. I think that's it for radio. The last thing was, what is missing on the sign-up form for hub volunteers is that we're going to call them the radio runner. not the radio assistant, because they kind of hang with the radio operator, but the radio runner, a physical body to go back and forth, since we know the radio is going to be situated, the ACS member is going to be situated a ways away from the hub. So I will add radio runner to each shift on everybody's sign up. So keep an eye out for that. Next, we talked about the outreach plan, and I did go over a little bit of what happens kind of behind the scenes with the outreach plan. We do have a designated email address this year. In the past, it has been all of the press for this has been sent from someone's personal address. I think Bill Nolan, who did this job last year, made up an email address, a Gmail address, so that he wasn't using his personal address when he's emailing the city and mayor and council members. But anyway, so we do have an email address for this particular drill, and it will be used. It could be used for many things coming up. The email address is events@seattleemergencyhubs.org. Many thanks to Matt Blank for setting that up. Events@seattleemergencyhubs.org. So we did have a PIO, a person that was going to handle the press plan. She had to pull out at the last minute. So Anne scrambled and tried to make it work. I'm learning a lot. It's very interesting work, very difficult. I've sent out 61 emails. I have emailed 183 scout troops. That was a couple of those emails. Every member of Office of Emergency Management has received a personal email asking them to attend. Typical things we hit are the mayor's office, the council members at large as a group have been invited. And then we also reach out to each of the individual council members whose hub is activating, who has a hub activating in their district. So those have gone out. It's all the blogs we can find. It's the West Seattle blog, the Ballard blog, the Capitol Hill blog. Magnolia's got a blog. I don't have the list in front of me, but there's probably 7, I think, that are big blogs. What else is on that list? Fire department. I don't honestly think police department's on there, but I'll get it on there. Fire department, the person we contacted is telling all of their fire engines that are up and running that day to maybe stop by, which frankly would be very disruptive, but that might happen. Yeah, there's a lot of people on the list. It's some people we know well, others it's just a generic email. There's quite a few calendars we've got this drill on. So a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes that the average hub person doesn't know about. It's all getting worked. It's getting worked slowly, slower this year than last year. Bill was better organized and did a good job for us last year. What else with outreach? A couple things. Somebody, one of the groups has mentioned that it's a little frustrating. We think it's a little frustrating for the public that the addresses for the specific locations is not on the posters or the flyers. So my suggestion to you, if you haven't put your posters out yet, is write on there what your address is. Write on there with a magic marker, make a sticker and put it on the poster. Yeah, I guess you'd have to get a sticker. Write it on the picture of the map, whatever you need to do. Mark up those flyers and the maps to make them work for you. On our end, what we have changed is the hub website, our main website. The addresses are on there now, and the specific website that was created for this drill also is going to have them added. We're running into some computer glitches. Matt's a little bit out of pocket at the moment, but he's going to get that changed. So that will be on the website for this drill. The website is event.seattlehubs.org. Event.seattlehubs.org. And that's the website that goes out when I do press. The press release has been sent out. I usually send a graphic. I've got a cover letter for the media, and then trying to personalize as many of these as I can to encourage folks to come. I think that's about it with outreach. I know that was a lot of me talking. I didn't really write down much that anybody said. I think I've captured most of what I did hear from the group. Um, oh, one of the things I owe you guys, and that's in the slides, but anyway, is handouts for National Night Out. I'm thinking forward to a page, really simple. Maybe we can get it to some of these block captains, get it into the hands of the hub captains or the hub volunteers, maybe get it out to their National Night Out groups and get more interest in the drill generated that way. So that's it for outreach. The next thing was a couple one-offs. We are trying really hard to request donations at this drill. If we're bringing the public in, we're asking for donations for those that come and visit us. So I think what this is going to look like is a yard sign that has a QR code. The QR code goes to our donation page, which is sitting at the Seattle Parks Foundation. They are our fiscal sponsor. They take 10% of what we bring in, but they handle all the paperwork, and that makes anybody's donation tax deductible. They deal with employee matching and all that kind of stuff. So they're very helpful. The QR code would go to their donation page. The donation page at the moment's a little lackluster, so we've got things in the works to make it a little bit more interesting. What else? I think that's it for pulling in donations. That was one. That's a little bit new this year. Also, each of the 4 hubs will have a large sign. It's a large orange sign that just says "Start Here." It will have holes at the top so you can hang it from a canopy if that works. It is a yard sign. So I will make sure that each hub that gets one of these signs has that H-shaped metal stiff wire that yard signs get shoved onto and then shoved into the ground. So you can hang it or you can stick it in the ground, whatever works for you. It says "Start Here" on both sides. And we're just trying to give a really clear sign to the public of where they need to go first. And that for you guys would be your welcome table. So that's the thing. The last thing is I'm going to add onto each of your signups another position besides the radio runner, a position that we're calling the press wrangler. We're hoping that the press will come every year. Because we're consistent, because we do this every year, I think they're starting to get used to us. We made some really good contacts last year. Maybe they'll follow up this year. And so we want somebody at each hub site that if somebody walks into your space and they have a camera with them or they look official, who knows, maybe they have bodyguards with them, something cool like that. We want all of the hub volunteers to go, "Oh, that person looks like they're from the press," or "They look like they might be the district council person for this area," or whatever. The person's in uniform, looks like he's from the fire department. We want all of the hub volunteers to go, "Hey, go get Mark." And then Mark is signaled and Mark heads up to the press, to the VIPs, and kind of wines and dines them, takes them around, explains what's going on, introduces them to the hub captain if that's appropriate. So press wrangler, I'm going to add that to your sign up sheet. So hopefully somebody will take that job and run with it. And hopefully we have people showing up that we need to impress and walk around. Let's see what I still owe you. I owe you the scripts. Let's talk about those. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you what the scripts look like, sort of. This is not exactly them because this is, if you can see at the top, these are scripts for Unplugged, which was last year, and it's for the power down scenario. So these are not the right scripts for an earthquake, but it will be the same format. If you can see my screen, line B is a set of scripts, column D, column B, column D is a set of scripts, and then column E is where you make the replacement. So for this example, I would take out this reference to Lake City Way and Northeast 125th Street, which actually links to this script. I talked to the traffic crew at Lake City Way and Northeast 125th Street. They've been blah, 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 blah. So if once you write in here something different, it changes it over here. I don't know if you can see it, but that's exactly what it did. Whoops. So you put your verbiage in column E and it changes it in either B or D, depending on how it's linked. When you print these scripts, the only thing that prints is column B and column D. It doesn't show this wonky column E. So you print them. I think it prints like 12 to a page. This is my suggestion, and I will put this in the comments in the directions when I send these all out. I suggest you print page 1 and maybe page 2, just those first 2 pages. Cut them out, scramble them, and then staple them together. On the back of that, write a number 1. What you're doing, because a lot of times in a lot of these script, these Excel spreadsheets, the scripts are matched. Column B matches column D. Column B says I lost a dog. Column D says I found a dog. B is I need diapers. D is I have extra diapers. So there's a lot of matches that are right next to each other. It was just easier trying to coordinate this and make sure that we had a lot of matches. So we want the matches to be close together in the scripts that you're handing out, but not right next to each other. So print out 2 pages, scramble them up, but staple them together so that all of those are gone through before you get to the second set of scripts, which would be pages 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6, and then 7 and 8. So that's how you do these. You modify in column E, and then you print, scramble just a few pages at a time, staple them together, and you're good to go. If anybody needs me to do this for them, I'm more than happy to do it. I have a good printer and lots of knowledge of how this works. So scripts are coming. Something else that came up is that, and I see this a lot when I do outreach stuff with people, people will make a sign up sheet and they will assume that everybody showing up is from their hub. So they don't leave a blank for what's your closest hub or what's your closest neighborhood. The sign up sheets that I use, because I go to a lot of events, has a spot for that. So I'm going to send out the sign up sheet that I use, and hopefully folks will use that too. We really need to capture what's your neighborhood or what's your hub. Anybody that's coming, we need to get that information from. That's the physical paperwork, having people sign up. We will, myself, Matt, James, whoever, we will work behind the scenes to have a QR code so that anybody that shows up can look at a QR code and share their information with us that way. And that way we capture their name, their email address, and their closest hub. We capture it electronically so that it's accurate. The difficulty in paper signups is that somebody has to figure out what that letter is, because nobody's handwriting is great at these things. So I will send you a paper copy for you to print to have available to folks, but also we will work out a system so that you have a QR code to capture that information. And then when the drill's over with, we just sort out everybody and we pick all of the Ballard hubs, everybody that lives in Ballard, and we send it to the Ballard hubs. Anybody that lives in, I don't know, South Park, we send them to South Park. Alki, we send them to Alki. So separated electronically after the fact. So that's coming. I think that's pretty much everything. There was some good conversation, a lot of questions about the radio. But I think that's about it. I am open to suggestions. I am, especially with the PIO job this year, I am learning it as I go. This was shocking and interesting both, and it's a lot of work. I think I might have mentioned this. I think I've sent 61 emails and I'm not done yet. Still quite a few. The big ones are all done, but there's still quite a few littler ones. Like I haven't hit the radio stations, the local radio stations. I think that's it. I am here to answer questions. Please get a hold of me, and then I'll see hopefully all of you guys at the Hubcap meeting next Thursday. And then the following Thursday, we'll meet again, 7 o'clock on my Zoom link and answer more questions. But if anything comes up in the meantime, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks. Bye.